Welcome to Podcast for Fun. This is the show where we dive into the passion, the process, and the journeys of creative storytellers as they bring their stories to life. I'm your host, Sophia, and today we are joined by a talented actress, film producer, singer, and writer, Hannah Carman. Thank you so much for being here, Hannah.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to get to chat with you today.
So, let's start with you telling us a little bit about yourself and your works.
Of course. So, as you can probably hear from my voice, I'm not a Canadian or an American. I am from Australia. I'm originally from Sydney. I've been doing acting and music pretty much my whole life since I was 6 or 7. So it's been a part of what I do as a human being for a very long time. And when I was 18, I ended up moving to Los Angeles to do an acting and production conservatory at the American Arts Film and Television Academy. So I was living in Los Angeles for about 6, 7 months, and I mean, it was only meant to be like an acting program, but then I ended up falling into production and just totally falling in love with it. So I ended up making my own film that got into a ton of different festivals in Los Angeles, in Toronto, in Athens, in Sydney, in Melbourne, in New Zealand. And then I ended up going back to Australia. I was working mostly in musical theatre as an actor in Australia, and also working on a couple of web series content things. Then I was a voiceover agent for a little bit. I was doing a ton of different things. I ended up going back to the States, and I was doing a production internship and mentorship. So I worked more in production last year. And then I ended up getting attached to a TV series called Queens of the Desert. So that is now, it's still currently in pre-production. The pilot of it will be finished in June of this year. But that was an incredible opportunity. In June of last year, I then finally moved to Vancouver, and I've been loving it. And I'm kind of a part of the film industry here now. So I help run events here in Vancouver that we do for film industry people. I write music for film. I make my own films, and I'm an auditioning actor and voiceover talent as well. So doing a lot of different things at the moment.
That's so crazy that you're doing four things at once.
I know it wasn't originally the plan to do all of this, but ended like sometimes you know, sometimes you start something and then you realize that you actually like something else, and then you end up picking up all of these different things, and then it kind of just like escalates from there. So you're like, "Oh, wow, I guess I'm doing like 60 different projects now." And that's how it is. So yeah, no, it's been kind of exhausting sometimes, but it's been an incredible journey, and this is a great industry to be a part of, because there's some of the most talented and creative people you'll ever meet doing this. So yeah, I'm grateful, happy, keeping busy. Yeah.
Mhm. But I feel like a lot of people are scared of trying to do creative things because it
Hmm.
feels risky and unstable, right? What do you think
Yeah.
about that?
Oh, I mean, totally correct. I mean, my parents personally were very much against me pursuing a career in this, even though I've been doing it for my whole life. They were like, maybe pick something else, do something that's easier. But I love my parents and I listen to them all the time. But sometimes if it's something that you really, really, really want to do, and you know for a fact that you're going to regret it if you don't do it, that's kind of the cue to, you know what? I'm an 18-year-old, 20-year-old, I'm a young person that wants to chase my dreams. If I don't do it now, then when am I ever going to get the chance to do that? So I just knew I've always known that this is what I wanted, and that I was
Mhm.
going to do anything to make sure that I could do it. And I think to anyone that's doubting and having, feeling a bit nervous about getting into this industry, that is totally fair enough. It's very competitive. It's extremely competitive, and what I would say is that you have to work really, really hard to make sure that you have a place in the industry. It doesn't just come to you. you know?
Mhm.
The work that you end up doing and all of the stuff that you end up being a part of, it's all based on how much you want it and how hard you're willing to work. That's what I would say.
Yeah. So what kind of things do you do to, I guess, keep your position in the industry?
Well, I make sure that I do something every single day. So I
Mhm.
mean, I'm someone that likes keeping really, really, really organized. So I have habit trackers on my phone of how much I'm doing things every day.
Mhm.
So I make sure I'm working, I mean, as an actor, I'm working on at least one audition or one script or working on something in acting for at least 30 minutes to an hour a day, at least. And then for music, make sure I'm on my piano and I'm doing scales or I'm doing writing at least 30 minutes to an hour a day.
Mhm.
So and with production work, it's kind of the same. If I'm working on something, I make sure I do something every single day for it. And I also set deadlines. If there's something that I need to get done by a certain date, then I will kind of delegate depending on how much work is in there. So on
Yeah.
one day I'll be like, I'll do this and this to get it done, and then the next day I'll do this and this. So by breaking it down and making sure that you're doing the little things every single day, that
Mhm.
kind of makes it a little bit easier to manage and make sure that you're putting the practice in you every single day and that you're not leaving everything to the last minute. Because I used to do that.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
no, I know it sucks. It's so bad. I used to in high school,
Mhm.
that was my only process. I would do everything the night before for an assignment, and then it's really, really stressful and it's painful. So you kind of want to just get out of that habit. Well, this is obviously my process. It's not going to be everyone's, but
Yeah.
um I just make sure I do something every single day for it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's actually really good.
Yeah.
So like, how do you do for production every day? Because you can't be on set every day, right?
So in terms of the work that I do for production, it's mostly for stuff in pre-production. So
Mm.
stuff that hasn't been filmed yet, but needs all the stuff laid out so it can be filmed. So
Mhm.
right now, I'll be honest, I'm working on the last 2 weeks, I've taken up another 4 or 5 film projects. It's really, yeah. So, yeah, I
Dang.
know it's really great. I'm very happy and excited, but it's a lot of work. And I'm doing different things for all of it. Like for
Yeah.
one film, I'm a production coordinator. It's a short film based off of a play that a Canadian playwright wrote, and he reached out to me. So I'm now, and he's rewriting a script, but I'm now a person that's kind of like delegating all the stuff and so that's a slightly different role. And then for another project, it's really early in the production process. So I'm literally going through the scripts and writing notes about what things should change, etc. And then
Mhm.
another project, like the script's written, now I'm working on like pitch documents, which is like a little document that essentially tells you everything you need to know about the project in a very easy, simple visual way. So something like that, or working out funding, working out grants, like all. I usually work in that capacity if I'm on production, and I mean, a lot of what I've been really blessed with is that sometimes when I'm working on production, I also get to act in that same project. So that's happened 4 or 5 different times now.
Mhm.
So, my personal opinion is if you're in production as an actor, you can actually generate your own work. You can generate your own jobs, which is
Mhm.
like empowering and means you're not waiting for the phone to ring for auditions. So, yeah.
What would you say is like the most important part in the film industry that gets you the most, I guess, roles because you're an actress?
What's the thing that like generates the most roles for
Yeah,
me?
because you got like so
Yeah.
many short films and stuff, and that's like a lot of people are trying to make that happen, right? But that already it's happening to you.
Look, I think right now, so I'm 21 years old. So I'm a 21-year-old white brunette girl,
Yeah.
right? So I I'm I'm I would say, this is what I would say, for all
Yeah.
the actors that are in a place like Vancouver, for instance, or LA, I'm probably in the most competitive age group and demographic out of everybody. The amount of like white young women under 30 that want to act is there is a lot of women in Vancouver that want to do that, right? So obviously, it's very important that you're still doing auditions and you're still meeting casting. So when you're also doing auditions, what I would also say is it helps if you know the casting directors as well and they know you because it's a trust relationship. So
Yeah.
you have to be going to industry events and meeting people as well as doing auditions. But I
Mm.
would say it's very, very competitive in that space. So I definitely don't get most of the work out of that. So I might like a good actor would probably book 1 to 3 roles a year through auditions, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. And that's like really good statistics. If you're making your own films, you could probably maybe do 4 or 5 different roles in a year on its
Yeah.
own, you
Yeah.
know? And it's a lot more work. It's a lot more work. And it's you're probably not going to be working on big budget stuff, but as a young person that's trying to get a foot in the door, it can be so valuable to get that onset experience, to get that credit, to get the film content that you need. And if the film, I've had friends that their film got into Sundance or their film got into Toronto, TIFF, or their film got into Cannes. And if
Yeah.
that happens, it's like best case scenario for one of those
Yeah.
films because you have like, I mean, I ended up going to Sundance this year, and it was incredible because all of these films that are chosen, they get like hundreds of people coming to watch their films that are like top industry people. So it's incredible exposure. So what I would say is like if you want to do more work, get into production as an actor, but it's important to do everything. It's important to just work really hard at everything. Yeah.
Is it easy to audition since COVID? Like, is everything online?
It's like, I actually prefer in person. I definitely prefer in person because you get to meet the person that is reviewing your tape. You get to say hi and introduce yourself, and you can kind of give that person an essence of yourself.
Yeah.
And then you just go in and you leave. Now, most auditions that take place are all on self-tape after COVID. So there's very little auditions other than maybe callbacks that are in person anymore, which means way more people audition, which is great.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say it's easier. I would just say it's a little different. You just have to make sure that that you're doing the work and then the product that you're the scene that you're doing, the character that you're doing is fully fleshed out.
Yeah.
But I think that the self-tape role means you have to now have your own camera equipment and you now have to have your own, you know, self-tape set up and you have to have all of those things to make it look professional. So
Yeah.
that's now become a new thing that you definitely have to have as an actor.
I mean, you need to have a level of commitment for everything. Like even with my podcast, I had to buy equipment and I didn't
Yeah.
expect to have to buy equipment, you know?
Yeah, no, I'm like I always and also like podcasts are such a big thing nowadays, right?
Mhm.
I was talking to my mom, and my mom, instead of watching the news now, just listens to podcasts,
Yeah.
and she's in her 60s now, she's older. So I know those obviously big investment things, but it's such a way to be able to connect with people now and to be able to spread the message of like, whatever it is that you're spreading the message about. It's pretty cool. So I'm proud of you, Sophia. You're killing the game.
Try my best.
Yes.
My goal right now is to like get like 10,000, maybe like 5,000 by the end of the year. But I don't have the highest expectation, but that's like my goal
Go
right
for
now.
the stars. Go for 10 grand. Go for
Like,
10K.
I
I
mean,
believe in you. I believe in you.
6 months and I got 2K, so I think that's like decent.
That's incredible. That's
Thank
incredible. And it means, that's incredible. And you're proof that, if you put in the hard work and you do it consistently and you're
you.
showing up consistently, that things can only go up from there. Regardless of where you start, if you do something consistently and you work at it every single day, you
Mhm.
know, you get better. It can only work out for you. So I'm proud of you, Sophia.
You too. What would you
Thank
say,
you.
what would you say would be like your dream position that you want to be in? Like with everything, like in life.
My
career
dream position.
wise?
I'm someone that is very like proud to be a multi-hyphenate person, which is like doing multiple things. So if my dream position would probably be I'm an actor that is working really consistently in, lead and supporting roles in film and television and online content
Yeah.
consistently. And that's a good source of income for me. I would say that I'm just in the process of opening up my own independent production company. So it would be, I would be an actor. I would be someone that's working on content with my own brand, my own production company, and releasing my own music. The music stuff is I haven't worked on it for years, but I'm newly focused on it this year. I've done so much music for film and I love doing that, but I'm ready to start really digging deep and writing my own things and releasing my own stuff. Which is so I would my dream position would be I'm releasing my own music and performing pretty regularly with that. I'm an actor and I have my own indie production company and I'm doing content with that. So everything. But yeah, that's the dream at the
Yeah,
moment.
me too. But a little
Yeah.
different. Be like on Broadway. That's what I'm trying to
Oh my
aim.
gosh, you want to be on Broadway? I love that.
But it's hard to juggle because I tell myself like, oh, I only have one life, so I should try to do both because I want to do both. But it's hard because I practice singing every day, but I do focus a lot more on my comic and my short film right now. More on my short film because I actually want to be a director rather than a comic creator. I
That's
think comic
awesome.
is like a stepping stone, right?
Hell
But I still
yeah.
yeah, I grew up reading comics, so I still love it. It's just I want to be
Awesome.
film director,
Do you
preferably.
have like a dream role on Broadway? Are there certain musicals you love?
Yes. Do you know Les Mis?
I love Les Mis. I
So
love Les Mis.
I want to be Eponine in Les Mis. It's like my dream role.
Oh, that's a great role. I love Eponine.
I know. And also I want to be the main girl. Okay. The funny thing is I only know one song from The Waitress, but I love When He Sees Me. So I would love to sing that on
Oh my
stage.
gosh. The way, like, that musical brought so many great songs. Like, she used to be mine as one of my, like, all-time favorite roles from a musical. I love that song so much. No, Broadway is, theater is so important and in musicals as well. I had no idea you wanted to be on Broadway. That's so fun.
I know.
Yes.
I've been vocal training for like almost 2 years now. So my
Awesome.
see, the reason is I actually never thought about it until my singing teacher told me that I should move to Toronto to audition. And I was like, okay, that's a big, big, big commitment. But she's been persistent about that for a very, very long time now. So she's kind of like
You
slowly.
should. The theater scene in Toronto is incredible. I love Toronto. I ended up going in March. It's incredible. There's some
Have you ever
incredible
like,
people.
you've done musicals before, right?
I have done musicals. I'm vocally trained. I was vocally trained from when the time I was maybe 15. So I have 5, 6 years of vocal training. I come from a family of musicians. My dad and my that part of the family, all singers, all musicians. So I grew up singing before I was an actor. So in Australia, like I that's most of the work that I was doing in musical theater. And the first short film I did was a musical short.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was. So I've now done like two musical short films. A feature film I'm working on is a musical.
Mhm.
So I love music and film. I love musical theater. I think it's incredible, and honestly, the people on Broadway, those people that are doing 8 shows a week
Mhm.
and doing the work for that is just unbelievable. And those people are some of the most talented people on earth. It's insane, the hard work and commitment involved with that, but it's incredible, you know.
What genre do you feel that you're more lean towards when you write like scripts?
Ooh, um, well, look, I was doing a lot of musical theater because I sing. for scripts, which is very like well a lot of musicals.
Hmm.
Um, so that was kind of one genre I ended up kind of finding a niche in. But I love like cult thrillers and horrors. I love that
Are
kind of
you working on,
stuff.
you're working on another horror, like short
I
film?
am working on it. I'm working on multiple horrors at the moment, but I love doing them.
Hmm.
And thrillers. I yeah, and I do a lot of what other things? I love stuff that's like historical
Hmm.
pieces. I'm like a big history buff. I did like all units, all study of history when I was 18, when I was end of high school. And I love history so much. So if I think a dream role for me would be to do a role or to do a film or what have you in like the 19th century or something really cool like that. Because I'm just a nerd for it, you know?
If you were to describe like, oh, this is the type of film I want to be in based off of like a film that already exists that's like kind of famous, which would it be?
Oh, I have an answer for this. Lord of the Rings.
Lord of
Lord
the
of the
Rings?
Rings. Yes, Lord of the Rings. That film is Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. But
Mhm.
I grew up with the original trilogy because that was my mum's favorite movies. So I was watching that when I was very young, maybe too young to watch Lord of the Rings. But I think that first trilogy is easily one of the best like fantasy franchises of all time. It's incredible. It has like it's based off of a period in history, in human history, a very long time ago. But I'm just a fantasy geek when it comes to like I read like in terms of books that I read, I'm a fantasy nerd. So I love being able to like do that kind of content. So in terms of the stuff that I write, it's more like
Yeah.
musical, but like stuff that I want to be in or like my favorite film, the stuff that makes me excited is like fantasy stuff, like high fantasy. Yeah.
That's
So
kind of
yeah. I don't I don't think you knew that about me, but I'm like yeah,
yeah.
a big nerd for like fantasy and all of that stuff. I love Game of Thrones, all of that kind of stuff. Yeah.
But you don't write fantasy, right?
Sorry?
Do you write fantasy?
I've never written a fantasy. I've never written one, but maybe I will in the future. I don't know. I'm focused on other genres at the moment, but I just love I think I just love that genre. Again, I've never written it before, but I would love to audition for that and do roles in that at
Hmm.
the moment. Like that would be like if an audition came across that was that genre, I would literally I'd be so excited. I'd do everything to get that. So, um, yeah, yeah, that's what I would say. What
Like
about
what?
you?
Me?
Yeah, what about you?
Like what?
In terms of like the film that's like if you could make anything or you could direct anything, like what would that film be for you?
Based off, like, if I had to refer to a pre already existing movie,
Yeah,
okay, I have two. One for a TV show and one for like a film.
shoot, this is great.
For TV show wise, I would want to make something like Severance. I think it's super cool,
Great. No, that is such a good pick. That is such a good pick.
right?
Yeah.
Because I'm really into like ethical dilemmas and things that make you question things. And
Yes.
oddly enough, I like it when there's not too many characters, so you can focus really on all the characters. So if
Hmm.
I were to direct Severance, I might actually reduce characters and focus more on like just a few that's like the most important,
Hell yeah.
probably.
That makes sense.
And then movie-wise, the perfect one is The Truman Show. I would 100% write something like that.
I love the Truman Show. I haven't, that was like one of like Jim Carrey's best films ever.
So good. And it's just Jim Carrey, right? So you just get to focus everything about him. So I'm like, that's something I would write. Focus on one character, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. A
And
hundred
like the
percent.
way he's trying to escape and everything, I would 100% write that one. I think that one's super good. My favorite, personally, Funny thing, I only watched it once, but I remember everything like I watched it yesterday because I thought it was so influential on me.
Mm-hmm.
But when I tell people like the kinds of movies I want to make, I always mention James Cameron, and that might be because I like sci-fi a lot, so I write a lot about sci-fi.
So,
But
so
like,
Avatar?
yeah, no, more
Yeah.
like Terminator, more like Terminator.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. No, like it's like a I haven't seen Terminator in a long time, like dystopian sci-fi.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
I
yeah.
love. That's awesome. Great.
This poster is like my comic, and it's literally dystopian sci-fi. So,
That's really Oh, kill the past to save the future.
heck.
Girl, that is top writing right there. That's awesome. I love that. Yes.
And I don't know if I told you this, I think I did, but I tried to make all my comics kind of a very detailed storyboard. So if someone ever asks me, what kind of movie do you want to write? I'm like, scroll past my comic. You can see. Because it's literally just a detailed storyboard. That's what I always
Awesome.
thought. Yeah.
No, that's also like to have that, to be able to like have physical comics that you've made and to be able to show people that being like this is the stuff that I want to make, and it makes your vision so clear to other people. I mean, that's such an incredible plus of doing comics and
Yeah.
doing like a drawing form
Mhm.
of writing. That's awesome.
You know, it's kind of like a big commitment to move countries for acting when you're 18. That's crazy.
Yeah. No, I know. I think at the time it didn't feel like a big commitment. Like it
Mhm.
felt like I was just pursuing my dreams and it was what I wanted and et cetera, et cetera. So I didn't feel super weird about it. But looking back, I was like, what was I nervous about that? Or like what was going on in my head? But I wasn't nervous when I moved when I was 18. I wasn't nervous at all.
Mhm.
I wanted to move so bad. And I wanted to be in LA so bad. So I was just so excited, so ready to be there. And it was the first 6, 7 months I spent in LA was like the best 6 or 7 months of my life. It was incredible. Yeah, it was
Do you
incredible.
feel like you have to move to LA to pursue film, or is that
No,
unnecessary?
no, 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 no. That's actually a big debate happening right now because LA is going through a tougher period with production right now because there's less
Why?
money. Well, because it's kind of complicated to explain, but there's not the tax incentives in LA anymore. So LA has become incredibly expensive to film anything, and there's no money that productions get back for using LA as a location. So for instance, why Vancouver has a lot of people filming here is because there's a tax credit. So people that film in Vancouver will get money back if they choose to film in Vancouver and hire local people.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So LA is easily one of the most expensive, I would say the most expensive place to film anything in the
Hmm.
world. Because the UK has tax credits now, Australia has tax credits now, Europe has tax credits now, Toronto and Vancouver have tax credits now. And also, the Canadian dollar is lower, for instance. So if you're an American company, you save money off that.
Hmm.
The crew costs are lower in Canada than they are in the US, as well as cost. Like, so right now, it's a complicated situation, but it's very expensive to film in LA right now. So
Hmm.
people are doing anything to not film in LA, literally anything. And going to different places to not have to pay that upfront cost. So because of that, lots of productions aren't filming there anymore. Like it's the lowest production right there might be the lowest it's ever been in LA. Yeah.
Wow.
So LA is a great place and it's still the business hub of film.
Yeah.
So it's a great place to be. But if you're like an actor or your own crew and you want to be working on film and television, it
Hmm.
might not be the best place to be anymore. That's kind of the messaging right now. Whether it picks up is yet to be seen.
Hmm.
But that's currently what's happening. It's crazy. So I would say no, you can as like you always want to be in a film hub, but it doesn't have to be LA. It could be New York, it could be Atlanta, it could be Vancouver or Toronto or London or Sydney or Melbourne. It could be Berlin. It could be so many different places. It could
Mm.
be, oh my gosh, it could be it could be Tokyo. It could be there's so many places that are making film content
Mm.
consistently. So as long as you're there, no need to worry about LA. That's what I would say.
Do you feel that's one of the reasons why you moved to Vancouver?
I mean, look, I moved to Vancouver because of like visa reasons. Like the visa situation in America is very tough if you don't have a green card and you don't have citizenship. So getting so that the whole immigration process, if you don't have those things, is incredibly tough. I mean, I still have my visa, but it's very, very restricted. So it's so especially when work is low in somewhere like LA, it's just I wouldn't be able to afford to rent or put food on the table if I lived there right now, you know? So which is why, moving to Canada with what I had was easily the best option. I could have gone to the UK. I have a passport, but I had all of this content that was American in my demo reel, and I was working with American coaches, and the only other place that that's really relevant is Canada because Canada works like 95% of the film and television content they do is American anyway.
Mhm. Yeah.
So that's kind of the reasoning behind that. But I love Vancouver on its own. It's also like the quality of life here is incredible. There's so many talented people here in Vancouver and Toronto. So it's I've been very lucky to get to go and live here and be here and be able to kind of be a part of the culture here because it's awesome.
Yeah. That's how I met you, you know?
No, I know. Literally. I love the Vancouver people. They're great. No, I'm
Uh,
and I mean,
Sorry.
have you considered moving to LA?
I mean, I never really considered it until people told me, like, a couple people from my podcast told me that if I really want to, pursue film, I should go to LA because that's where all the huge industry people are. But I'm kind of a family-oriented person, so I prefer to stay near my family and kind of convince myself, okay, there's online. If I really have an opportunity, maybe I'll move. But unless it's quite certain, I don't think I have a reason to move. And I can do
Agreed.
everything from home, I'd like to think. So, and I
Oh
think
yeah,
I heard, like you said, I heard Vancouver is a pretty big film place. So I thought
it
that
is.
should be fine. I'm
It
not sure.
is. There's an industry here. There's 100% industry here. And again, actually, I was reading someone's opinion on what's happening in LA right now because a lot of LA people are in pain right now and upset that work isn't like, for instance, right now, all the studio spaces that are usually at 90% capacity before COVID, they're now like half the sound stages are empty in LA right now.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So look, there's all the business people, all of the studios, all of the big agencies, all of the business behind the camera people that are big, that are executives, for instance. Most of them are in LA. But in terms of what's actually being filmed, things are moving drastically out of there.
Mhm.
So I read about I found someone's comment actually on Instagram threads, but I found it was so interesting. It was
Yeah.
about the fact that Hollywood it's not collapsing. People think it's collapsing. He said it's not collapsing. It's just decentralizing. So
Mm.
it used to only be in LA that you could pursue a film career 30, 40 years ago. But
Yeah.
that's different now. It's now there are hubs all over the world where people are making content, and now in some ways it's sad because things are changing, but in some ways it allows people outside of America and outside of California to have a voice and to be able to make films and movies and to be able to bring their content to the forefront. So it's an opportunity for international people that are non-American to be able to make the stuff that they want to make. So it's kind of it can be a bad situation if you look at it from a certain perspective, but then in another perspective, it's actually kind of a great situation for international people. So again, it's very much a contended issue. At the moment, we're in a transitional period in the industry, so people don't know what's going to happen. So we're
Yeah.
going to wait and see.
I think it's a good thing because it means it's more reachable. Plus, like maybe because I use try to use social media a lot because every time research something, they always say, post on social media if you want people to see you or really want to be found.
No, I
So,
know.
but like it does work because a lot of my guests find me on social media and like people read my comics through my social media
That's so great.
and
No,
people
for
anywhere in
real.
the world it's like accessible to anybody, right?
Oh yeah. No, exactly. The internet and social media has made everyone connected.
Yes.
Yeah. And in some ways that's kind of like weird and different, but in some ways it's a great thing. 'Cause it
Mhm.
means like more people have access to be able to have a career doing this, which is awesome.
Do you feel that your career was stagnant at one point and then something like turned it up?
Yeah. Well, when I was a voiceover agent in 2023, I learned a lot doing that job, and I'm very grateful that I got that job.
Yeah.
I did it for 6 or 7 months. Um, but in terms of my acting and all the other creative stuff, I had to put all of that on pause during that
Mhm.
time. And so I wasn't very happy at that time. And it just that position wasn't right for me. Like I tried it and it was financially the best that I ever was. Like I was making more money doing that job consistently than anything else. But creatively, I just wasn't fulfilled and I wasn't doing the work that I wanted to do and I wanted to be out of Australia. I was in Sydney at the time. So when I was doing that job, I became more and more convinced that I wanted to leave and pursue the things that I wanted to pursue and do it, you know? Uh, Even if it meant I was going to put myself in a financially more difficult position. It was
Mhm.
like, do I want to be financially stable or do I want to be happy? And so I picked happiness. So I ended up to get out of that. Well, I left that job and I moved back to LA for 3 or 4 months to get back into it and go back into production, go back into the things that I love. And then straight after that I moved to Vancouver. So I ended up getting out of that situation. But yeah, it was hard. It was hard because yeah, it was hard. But you find a way out of it, right? It's just the
Yeah.
seasons of life. Sometimes you're in a down moment, sometimes you're in an up moment, and that's just the way that it works, and you just got to find a way to work your way through it, pretty much. Yeah.
Would you say you're more or less financially stable right now?
I'm 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 stable. I'm not in like the highest of highs, but
Yeah.
that's everybody.
Yeah.
I would say that I'm happy. I would say that I'm tired, but I would say that I'm happy and I'm in the right place where I want to be.
Yeah.
And like I can afford like I'm paying rent and I'm paying for all of my stuff and I'm doing all of that and I can very comfortably afford everything that I need.
Mhm.
And I'm in that position because I can afford everything and I'm happy. So that means I'm fine, you know? Like I'm kind of I'm chilling. So that's kind of where I'm at.
Did you go to school for writing or did you kind of just do yourself?
No, I never went to school for writing. I've always done writing, but I think with writing I just make sure that I'm doing it as often as I can. I mean,
Mhm.
I do believe that I mean it's great to have a film degree if you want to do film, but you don't need a film degree. There are
Mhm.
people that get to pursue film and don't have a film degree. So
Yeah.
it's kind of the industry is exactly how you make it, you know?
Yeah. How did
So
you how did you get your first role?
how did I get my first role? I mean, the first role that I ever got, I was young. I was pretty young. I was 10. So I was a baby. Yeah, I was a baby. It was the first little film I'd ever done. And I was doing acting classes at the time, local acting classes. And my acting coach, who was also a director at the time, he said that I should audition for his film. So I auditioned for his film, and I ended up getting the role. So that was just kind of that. That was an audition issue, but the guy that I was auditioning for, I knew very, very well. He was my coach.
Yeah.
So, um, and that yeah, that was the first project yeah, that's the first project I ever did. There is a video online on YouTube That is my first ever role when I was 10 years old. It's really funny. Yeah. I very, very rarely show people because I was like a baby. I was a
Oh,
baby. Um, but yeah, that's how I got my first role. Yeah.
well, what was the role?
So it was a short film about it was actually it was like it was a comedy satire
Mm.
about the hospital industry, like the medical industry. And I played the lead like child that was like it was like a satire about like being like a hospital worker, and they employed like they had kids act out all of these scenes as if they were adults, essentially. So it was a script that was meant to be representative of the adult healthcare industry in Australia, but they employed all these kids to do all of this dialogue for it.
Yeah.
So I was like the lead, like head doctor in this comedy satire film. Yeah, it was very interesting.
Have fun though.
No, yeah, yeah, it was so fun. And yeah, it was like my first ever experience in front of a camera, you know, on set. So and because of that, you know, that was a blessing, you know. Getting and I realized how much I love to do it doing that, you know.
Yeah. I
So that was cool.
feel for me, oh, I'm not as experienced as you, obviously, but I feel like connections are like the most important thing when it comes to film,
They are
and
important.
they're like the hardest things to get, I feel.
True. I mean, but like for instance, like for you, right? Like this podcast has allowed you to meet so many people, right? So that's like
Yeah.
that's a very like easy, interesting way to be able to create a network. But you're right. It is important. It is important. You do need people, and actually, I have an opinion about this. Like people are always saying like networking, 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 and that word is kind of overused in my opinion.
Yeah.
What I would say is the people that are important to be around are the people like who are your friendships, right? The people that you actually have genuine friendships with in the industry is the
Mm.
important part. People that
Yeah.
really two people that really care about each other want to work together. You'll see
Yes.
even with like big directors like Tarantino or Scorsese or Christopher Nolan, they will employ the same people because they're
I
their
know.
friends. The same people. They won't ever, you know, like I was watching a YouTube video about Tarantino on off takes. He would address his editor on set in front of the camera. He'd be like, "Hi, Sally," in between takes because Sally was the editor. Has been his editor his entire career, and
Yeah.
he's never changed it.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, you just want to be, you know, you want to be a good friend. That's that's what I would say. Like us,
Yeah.
Sophia.
Exactly. Maybe we might work on something together, we'll
Yeah,
never
no,
know.
that'd be so fun. That'd be the best. Maybe
You know,
like an animation or something. That'd be so cool.
I know you actually might because I'm working on uh scripting my second short film already because my first short film it's taking a while but it's like going faster than I expected and there's a girl character and I only have one dude voice actor. So,
Oh my gosh, I would love, girl, hit me up.
yes, I
Yeah, that'd be
will.
so fun. Of
Right?
course.
And it's
Yeah.
so funny 'cause the character looks like you. Like she's blonde. And she has shorter hair, but.
Oh, thank you. No, that's really fun. Like I respect your hustle, Sophia, or already working on your second short film. That's awesome. I'm proud of you.
I feel like I'm like throwing like stones against the wall and hoping one will land, and I don't know where the mat is, like the target is.
But that's the beauty of being a young creative person, you know? Like
Mhm.
you gotta sometimes just throw things at a wall and see what sticks. Like you're 19,
Yes.
19. Yeah, she's fine, guys. She's all good. Like she's
Yeah.
when you're 19, like the world is your oyster. You're so young, you know? It's a learning period being 19. I mean, it's a learning period being 21, but it's especially a learning period when you're 18, 19 years old, you know? Because you're very new, like you're just out of high school. So you got
Mhm.
to just, you know, um make sure that you're doing it every day and, you know, and see what works for you, what you enjoy to do.
Yeah.
That's the important part.
Really, I enjoy this podcast because how does this keep going, right?
I know, I know. Also, like, yeah, no, for real. Again, like, it is such a good idea that you're doing a podcast. Everyone's doing one now. Like, I met a film guy in Toronto who's doing incredibly well, and he has a podcast. Like, he's now garnered a huge following. He has a podcast now. Like, it's such a great tool, you know? So I'm proud of you.
Wait, have you been on other podcasts before?
Yes, I have. This is the third one I've done.
Okay.
Yeah. I have a beautiful friend in Australia called Zoe Marcos. She's an actor and she has a podcast that she does. Um and she's oh my gosh, must have interviewed hundreds of people now. She's been doing it for years. Yeah.
Mm.
And then I got on a podcast for a film festival that my film got into in a couple of years ago, 2023.
Mm.
Which was a guy in Toronto.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, the guy you were mentioning, right?
No, this is
Oh,
two
no.
separate people. So a film festival in Toronto that my film got into, with getting your film in, he does a podcast interview
Mhm.
with it's a part of the package. So you
Oh,
do
wow.
an interview about your film specifically to him. Um and I that was the first ever one I did. It's probably the first ever one I ever did. Yeah. It's cool.
What was the experience like? It's like
What was that
small.
experience like? Really fun. I like just talking to people, you know? Like I really I don't get that nervous um when it's just I can say what I want, you know?
Yeah.
And I get to connect with someone new or
Mm.
a friend like you
Yeah.
know? Like I don't get nervous. I think it's really fun to be able to just have a chat. Um and yeah, so it was just a great experience and I just really enjoyed it. Had a great time. A great old time. Yeah.
That's fantastic.
So how many guests have you had on this podcast now?
So I haven't posted not even like I'd say like one third of my podcast. I had
Crazy.
I had a week where no, I had like a month where I interviewed five people every single day, which was crazy.
Are you
Like an hour
kidding
and a
me?
half in a row. I was getting pretty tired. I asked a lot of crazy.
Girl, are you serious?
Yeah.
Are you okay? That is a lot of people. And also your podcasts are an hour long each or something, right?
Yes, they are.
That's like 5 hours of talking.
Not
Oh
even that, because
my
then
gosh.
after I talked to them, I would have a little chat after they would like ask questions like, "Oh, when is this podcast gonna be released?" You know, and then they would talk about like their work because connections, so they would use it, and because they know I know a lot of people, especially after I posted like some of these like big comic writers, I got a lot more people because they were like, oh my God, there's actually important people on this podcast. But so yeah, I was talking to like five people every single day, and I think that was the week where I broke up the most because I was a little stressed, but it was fun because
Oh my gosh. God, you guys, this girl's working so hard to keep this running. Listen and follow her and like her stuff because she's killing the
yes,
game, you know?
important guys. You're gonna learn a lot of things. You're gonna learn a lot of things from Hannah. You can be a comic creator. You can be a film director, an actor, actress, everything.
Yeah. You can do anything. And Sophia is making this happen for you, you know?
Exactly. And you can also like sign up and talk to me too. Which is gonna be hard because there's a lot more people in real life joining my podcast than online right now. So, but the chances are still there.
That is
And
cr sorry, I'm so shook that you had 5 people in one day. Every
yeah,
day for a week?
yeah. Not even a
Girl,
week. It was like a month, every single day, like nonstop. The only days I
that is
wasn't there,
crazy.
other than Saturday and Sunday, it was almost every single day.
That is crazy. Oh
I
my
know. I had a forced break because I got a fever, and I don't know why. I got a really bad fever, so I had to a forced break for like 4 days, Friday and
gosh.
Monday. But then I got back on it on Tuesday again.
So so in that case, you've interviewed so many people at this point.
Mm.
Like over 100?
Not 100, maybe like 50 people.
Yeah, it's a
It's
lot.
quite a lot. And I post every week. I might try to post more people. It just takes a little bit to edit it and make like thumbnails and stuff like that. It's not even it doesn't take that much time, but I try to like I do my podcast and I try to work on my comic and also try to do my podcast, which is like kind
Hmm.
of really hard to juggle. I
Yeah, I
realize
know
that
it is a lot.
like, I don't know if you noticed, but I don't post as much on my comic account because I'm putting a lot of effort in my podcast, like a lot
Yeah.
of like on there, and
Yeah.
editing is all the way there. So now there's no editing for my comic. So now
Yeah,
it's like,
no, girl, you're so fine. You're killing it. If you're doing that much, so you're posting once a week, but you're getting like 20 people interviewed, like 20 people. Oh, wow, crazy.
yeah. And then I get like, try to post twice a week. So like one 1 hour thing and like one 10-minute thing.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
People can digest it. And then like a reel every single day.
Crazy.
Yeah. And
That is a lot of work.
yeah, at
Just
least
in case people know, that's a lot of work.
so, and then also I'm working on like 5 scripts right now. Uh,
Crazy. Killing it.
all long scripts, and I'm working on like 2 pitch proposals and like 4 covers. So that's what I'm
Oh
doing
my
right now.
gosh, a lot. A lot.
We'll see
Crazy.
how it goes. We'll see how it
So
goes.
so people will be listening to this in like 3 months, maybe? 3 months after today?
It depends. I don't even put it in order, so I don't post it. Like I do post it in order, but not exactly. You
That's
know.
okay. No, cool. So that's awesome. And it's fine. Like take your time. If you're interviewing that many people, got to take your time with it, you know?
Yeah. But you're right. It's probably gonna be 3 months, 2 to 3 months. That's what I'd say.
Cool. That's
And
that's totally fine.
and if I post more
Brilliant.
often, like twice a week, even shorter. But I don't think I'll do that because then I might run out my buffer, and that's kind of what I like. I want to be.
Yeah.
I learned from social media it's better to be consistent than to post a lot.
Yeah. Agreed.
Right.
100% agreed. And also you don't want to totally oversaturate it, you know? Don't totally oversaturate what you're doing. Make it like intentional. I think once a week for one of these really long podcasts is perfect. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how like big people like Joe Rogan can do it like every single day. I'm like, bro, how many people is this man like interviewing every
I
single day?
know. I know. It's a big job. It's a really big job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how's he doing it on the side? I don't get it. So.
I know. I know. It's crazy.
So, Hannah, I have one last question.
Of course. Shoot.
What's one advice you'd give to the aspiring storytellers watching this right now?
Ooh. Don't be afraid to make your own stuff, even if you don't have $1 million. Like, honestly, it's the power of being able to create your own content now, whatever that is, whether that's a short film, whether that's covers on YouTube, whether that's social media, Instagram posts, the power of being able to create your own content now, it can open so many doors for you. So what
Mhm.
I would say is don't wait for the money to happen. Don't wait for exactly the right connections to happen. Just make whatever it is that you want to make. Just start. Once you start, you've gotten through the biggest hurdle. It's starting that's the hard part.
Yes.
So,
And that was so good.
yeah.
You said it very nicely.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. No, I think about it a lot though. Like, oh, what would I like tell myself when I was 17 or what would I tell myself when I was a teenager? With what I know now. And that is genuinely what I would say. Yeah.
And I saw something very interesting on the internet, and I believe it, but a lot of people might disagree. There's a video where a guy was like, "You can mess up for 10 years and you'll still be young." So the biggest currency you have as a young person is the fact that you're young and that you have time. So you should
Yeah.
take this opportunity. to try and fail at the things you actually want to do.
Yeah. Failing is better than not trying. Failing is actually important.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you learn. So
Yes.
I approve that message, you know?
And where can our awesome listeners find your work?
Oh my gosh. Well, at the moment, it's a lot, so much stuff is in pre-production that like, and that's going to be going in multiple different places. I have an Instagram. I'm gonna start posting on a TikTok, which is exciting. Um, so if any updates on where my stuff is, follow me on socials. That's what I would say, because it's going to be in different places, a lot of my film content and a lot of my music stuff. So
Mhm.
if you'd like to know more, just follow me on Instagram and TikTok. Yeah.
You click on the link in the description, guys.
Thank you. Please do. And subscribe to Sophia. Subscribe
Yes,
to Podcast for Fun because she's killing it and she's working so hard. So make her day a little brighter.
exactly. Well, that's a wrap for today's episode of Podcast for Fun. Thank you so much, Hannah, for joining us and sharing
No
your.
problem.
That was so fun. I just love yapping to people. This is why I started this.
I can tell, girl. This is why you're the right person to have a podcast. You like to yap, which is
Yeah.
awesome.
And to our listeners, thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with fellow storytelling enthusiasts. And if you have any questions or topics you'd like me to explore, you can drop them in the comments or connect with me on any of my social medias at Podcast for Fun. Until next time, keep creating, keep dreaming, and we'll see you on the next episode of Podcast for Fun.